Hey guys, how are you doing? Not doing too good myself. As you guys have probably noticed, I haven't posted a video in the last 4 days, and that's because I haven't been feeling too good. And I'm not saying I've been sick or anything, I've just been very sleep deprived. And there's a reason for that. I've been having some crazy dreams the last couple of days. Some are just kind of weird, but I wanted to talk to you guys about them a little bit. As you guys know, sometimes I like to talk to you guys about my dreams, and these ones are very bizarre, and two of them are pretty scary. I'll save the scariest one for last, but there's three stories here. The first one happened 3 days ago. These have been happening every night. And I dreamt, this is only a very short dream, I don't really remember much of it. I just remember that I was late going to my friend from high school who I haven't seen in a long time. I was late going to his house for like a party, and I get there and he starts crying. And I'm like, "Why are you crying?" And he's like, "Haven't you heard?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Dwayne Johnson's granddad died." And I'm like, "Huh. Didn't even know Dwayne Johnson had a granddad." He showed me this card that he made, like he drew a picture of The Rock on the front of the card. It said something, and I could actually read it. Like, I've always heard that, like, I've told you guys about dreams before, and apparently, like, you can't read in a dream. Your brain just doesn't make sense of words, so it's just mumble jumble. But I could actually read it. It did say something like, it was like, the granddad of, and then of The Rock, and then like the picture of the rock that he drew in the middle, and then underneath has died. And he like made it, and he was like crying, and I was like, oh, okay. That's pretty much it for that dream. Not scary or anything, just kind of weird. The next dream was pretty scary. Now this one was a little longer, but I can't really remember like most of the details, but I'll run you guys through it. So basically, I was at this like event. It was like a almost like a game show or something. And I was like there. I was sitting in the audience, and there was the set in front, and the host of the show, or like a late night show. It was more like a late night show than a game show, kind of. And the host was Chris Rock, and he was like on the stage, and he was saying about like how these two contestants who were like a couple, a man and a woman, and they were newlyweds. They had just gotten married, and they were like trying to win this vacation to some place, and they did. They successfully won, but then suddenly it went from being like them celebrating on stage with Chris Rock. It's almost like the stage just kind of, how do I describe it? Like, it dismantled around us. And suddenly we were at the airport, and there was a big plane there, and they were going on it. But the challenge was that they go, and he like squeezes into this like thing in the I guess like where the plane's wheels go in, that part of the plane. And if he's able to successfully stay in there the whole trip, then he gets something else. So he attempts this challenge, and he goes in there, and suddenly like it's like I'm in the plane too, so I could see everything that was going on. I didn't see myself go in the plane. It just kind of like happened around me. It was weird. The girl was on the outside, and she was told if she could stay in this like, it was like a weird like glass tube, and if she was able to stay in there, they would win this prize. And she attempts it, but shortly after takeoff, the guy starts complaining about being very cold, and then he passes away. Like, he actually dies in this thing. And he was in such a tight space too. It was very claustrophobic, even just to look at. But the girl was like in this it was kind of like a vacuum chamber. It seemed like it was like this glass tube or plastic, and she was sitting in there, like, again, she was kind of like knees up to her chest, kind of squished in this little thing. And suddenly there was like something just dropped inside, just only like a couple of inches. You saw her drop a little bit, but then she kind of went. It was very fucking disturbing, by the way. It was as if it dropped, like the floor she was sitting on, or whatever, the base of this thing dropped like 5 inches at most. You just saw her kind of jolt a little down, but then suddenly she went like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen somebody like die from like hanging or anything like that, or a gunshot to the head. I've seen a lot of disturbing videos. I know like how the process of someone dying that way is, and I guess it's like your body's reaction is to make your hands go like this, and you see them kind of like seizing almost. And I've seen videos of people hanging, and it's not nice. They're hanging, and as soon as they start to like die, I guess, their hands are coming up and doing this. And the same when somebody shoots themselves in the head. I've often seen that. They will like this with the hands, and it's like, I guess it's like a chemical reaction from your brain is to like make the muscle seize or something. I'm not sure. It's like the process of dying, I guess. She instantly did that. And she was just unresponsive too. She just died. This thing is like, she was sitting there kind of giggling and everything, like, oh, I'm participating in this like challenge. I'm going to win something. I can't remember what the second prize was. But it was to make their vacation even better. And she attempted it. He died of like freezing to death in this like luggage area, or the plane's wheels area. And she was in this vacuum chamber, and suddenly it was as if the pressure just killed her. She just instantly was like, went from laughing and stuff to like that. It was so disturbing. But that wasn't all. She got severed in half. And funnily enough, this happened just a couple of days after I made that video talking about the Japanese girl with no legs, if you guys remember that. And that's what happened to her. She got severed in half. They opened up the chamber. The guy was kind of forgotten about at this point. It was just like the focus was on getting the girl out of this chamber. They took her out. I don't even know who it was. I don't think it was anybody. There was nobody else around. I just remember kind of like opening or something. And she had like been severed in the middle. So something went wrong there. And the next thing, she like, just her torso on her arms, lifted her head, looked at me like this, and started screaming as if she was still aware of like, oh my God, what the fuck's happened to me? I'm freaked out. But she started charging at me on her hands, like running on her hands, and she had no legs, and it was like disturbing. It was real disturbing. I know it sounds kind of funny now, but it was very disturbing. Anyway, that's all I remember of Dream 2. Now, the third dream, this one was, I would say, although it wasn't as graphic, it was definitely more disturbing. Like, I actually had like a bad day because of this. I only had 3 hours sleep because it woke me up 3 hours later, and I just went on, like, I couldn't sleep, so I just lay there all morning thinking, and then I went the whole day without sleep, and it was just awful. But this dream was like, it was nighttime, and I was in this convenience store, which, funnily enough, I do know in real life, it is a real convenience store, and I was in there, and it was late at night. I remember them having, like, a Tupperware plastic thing with like pens and stuff in it on the front of the counter, but I also noticed it had like probably hundreds of dollars wrapped up in like a ball, like rolled up, with like a rubber band around it. I remember being in there, and I remember looking at that, and there was a woman next to me. I was like right at the cash register, and there was a woman next to me, but nobody behind the cash register. And I looked at this woman, and I remember like saying to her, look at that, like just leaving a whole bunch of money like that rolled up in front. We didn't take it or anything like that. I just remember like saying to her, can you believe this? Like that kind of thing. But then she kind of looked at me and was like, and laughed and like did a smile, like a, and then it got sinister from there. Suddenly the whole atmosphere changed in this place, and she just locked eyes with me and had this like, she maintained the smile the whole time. And the eye contact. So I'm stood here. You guys are the cash register. Just imagine that. I'm stood here waiting to be served, and she's next to me here in the line. And I like turn to her, and the thing's in front of me, and that's when I say it to her, like, look at that money. They're just leaving it out in the open like this. And she goes, huh. But suddenly, the whole like atmosphere changed, and it just felt really dingy, really dark, really disturbing. Nobody else was around except me. And she just locked eyes, locked this smile on her face, and she was just like, and I've always said there's nothing scarier than somebody smiling at you. I've always said it, and I swear to God, that's the truth. I started backing away because I was internally freaking out, so I backed away down this aisle, and as I'm backing away, she like followed me. So like, okay, this is going to be hard to paint the picture. Okay, so at first, she stood here facing me. As I back away down the aisle, she turns her body so she's, like, facing me. And there's just this aisle of, like, all the grocery stuff. This aisle like this. And she's at one end of the aisle, still standing there. She's not making any moves or anything like that, but I'm backing away. And she's turned and followed me, but she still got that smile and the eye contact. And it just felt like in real life, it's probably 10 feet, that aisle. But in the dream, it just felt like I was backing away, keeping my eye on her. Like, I was not going to risk turning my back and running because I feel like she would have give chase. So I was just backing away and backing away and backing away. But it felt like the aisle was just going and going and going. And it was just super long. And she's just stood at the end of this aisle just smiling at me. And it was... I feel like the first or the second dream... although it was more gory and graphic, this one was just so much more disturbing in a sinister sense. It felt like, I can't even describe it. Like, she just went from being so normal, like, she looked like a normal woman in, like, her 40s. And she just, from talking about the money. And I just said to her, look at that. And she goes, huh. And it's like, ugh. Oh, I literally just got chills. So, of course, that disturbed my sleep again. I tried to go to bed early that night because of, like, being tired from the previous 2 nights. And then I woke up early again, and I was just laying there in bed, unable to sleep because of the smiling woman. So yeah, I've also been Christmas shopping too. That's not the only reason why why I haven't been doing YouTube videos. I've been a little busy just trying to put Christmas first because I'm literally like running behind. Christmas is coming and I have nothing. But yeah, those are some pretty creepy dreams that I wanted to share with you guys. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully I won't have any nightmares about the smiling woman tonight, but you never know. I feel like she's going to be haunting me from now on. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out and chase your dreams. Unless there is a smiling woman, then don't chase them. Run away. In fact, don't run because she'll give chase. Back away slowly. That's what I did, and I'm still here to live to tell the tale. See you guys.